Claus the black man. Santa Claus the black man and his handsome like my daddy too. Santa Claus the black man. Santa Claus the black man, and I found out that's why I'm telling you.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm very excited to talk to you guys about all of my beautiful bronzers. If you know me, you know that bronzer is my weak point. I absolutely love bronzing up my face, whether it's powder bronzer or cream bronzer. I do have a splash of contour products in this collection, but I mean quite literally a splash. I don't really contour. That's just not my vibes, not something that I'm into. Now, I do not have any cream bronzers here in this collection. I will be doing a collection video later on where it's highlighting all of my cream products in general. So I will highlight my highlighters, my blushes, and my cream bronzers in that video. But if you are interested in seeing the powder bronzers that have survived my collection and that I haven't finished panning, or if I haven't decluttered, then let's just get into it. Okay, so these are all my bronzers. I'm sure this is quite the collection for some. This is actually me being very conservative and decluttering throughout the years because I have had a lot more than this. And I also have panned quite a few bronzers actually. But yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and start off with this baby right here. This is my second ColourPop Bits and Pieces bronzer. I am currently panning this in my project pan. So yeah, I was really just putting this in there just to get more use out of it. Originally in my project Use It Up, or by the project pan that I did for Halloween, and I just never took it out of my project pan drawer, and it just kind of morphed its way into my normal project pan. As you can see, I'm already starting to see a dent. This is nothing unusual for me. Like I said, this is my second compact of this. I've already gone through one completely, and I love it. I don't necessarily love the red undertone as much as I used to, so I do kind of combine this a little bit more with a different product to make it work for me now. But I will continue to keep this in my collection, and I cannot wait to see me completely finish this one up again. Another love that is right here is from House Labs. I have this in the shade Deep a Level 11. I absolutely love this bronzer. This is a more baked gelée bronzer, so I would definitely recommend something that is either natural hair or really has a very rough bristled brush to really pick up this product nicely. I think it's beautiful. I love the undertone to it. I love everything about it. Definitely a favorite. One of my older bronzer palettes is this baby. This is from Alamar. I think this is just their deep to rich palette again. I think this is an okay palette. It's not a love, it's not a hate, but it definitely is solid formulas and I can get use out of it. So I'm going to keep her and just see how far I can get usage wise with all of these products. I can get use out of every last product, which is always nice. Although these two are the most usage I would get, this one is just kind of in between. So yeah, very solid product though. Something I was surprised by, this Jouer powder duo in the shade Deep to Dark. I can actually get use out of it. Now, I definitely prefer this side over this one. I would say this is definitely like my summer shade and this is definitely like my winter shade, but I would even mix this with this during the winter, whereas this would be like a standalone during the summer. It's a solid palette though. I don't hear many people talking about it anymore, but it is solid, so I will continue to keep it nonetheless. This is predominantly the palette that I keep only for contour. I know the brand just recently kind of updated their packaging and their shade range in this, but as you can see, I don't get much use out of it. I really don't. This is very, very cool tone. This is the warmer of the two, but because it's in such a small um, area, I just don't get a lot of use out of this product. That said, though, I am going to go ahead and continue to keep it so that I can continue to curb my interest on picking up any cooler toned products because I already have one right here that I do not use. This is a product that I was very excited for last year. This is Mented Cosmetics bronzer in Yacht Life. This is an okay range. I didn't really find the perfect shade for me. This one was slightly too light and the other one was just extremely too deep. I decided to keep this because with a cream bronzer underneath, it works for me. Now, it doesn't bother me that I need to do a cream bronzer under because I just naturally put a cream bronzer under my bronzers lately. So yeah, I will continue to keep this. This is a very matte finish though, so in the event that that bothers you, I would not recommend that one. Some Revolution bronzers that I've kept throughout the years. So this one is in Sculpting Bronzer. Is there a shade on there? In Robe. And then this one, which is in their coffee bronzer range in Mocha. Now, if I had to choose between the two, I would definitely recommend this one. This one is okay. It's not terrible. It's not, terrible or anything like that. It's just fine. So I'm going to keep them both, although I could definitely see me maybe if I ever decide I really need to like drastically decrease my makeup collection, I could definitely see me getting rid of this coffee one and just keeping this, but I think they're both fine. And right now, my mindset with my declutters is getting rid of things that I genuinely can't get any use out of, but I also just don't want to use my declutters as a scapegoat to over purchase during the year and then kind of shuttle my products off to other people, because I feel like that was what I was doing previously, and that's not where I want to be. I want to use the products that I pick up. I pick them up for a reason, and so I want to, if at all possible, keep the products so that I can get my use out of them. This is actually an e.l.f. highlighter that I've just been able to get away with as like a bronzer topper. This is in the shade Luminous Bronze. I'm definitely going to keep this. I may not keep this in my bronzer section. I may actually transfer this to my highlighter section with a very fluffy brush. You can get away with a highlighter genuinely as like a warm bronzer, and because this has like a like red undertone, it just worked that way for me in the past. But either way, I will be keeping this. I do get use out of it. It's just not a favorite. Definitely not a favorite. Full Spectrum, good gracious. So this is the Full Spectrum bronzer in the shade Ebony. I think this is okay. I think this is a dupe for the CoverGirl one, even though this is CoverGirl, more of the Queen range. They, I think, duped it out with this one. I ended up keeping this one, I believe, over that one. No, I kept them both. Oh goodness. So I have them both. They're pretty much the same thing. So in the event that you wanted the Queen bronzer because you saw so many people raving about them, pretty much the same thing. This one just has a yellow undertone, whereas this one has more of a redder tone. I think they're both fine. I have difficulty picking them both up, although I can pick up the Full Spectrum a little bit better than the Queen. But yeah, solid bronzers, so they will stay in my collection. My, I believe, last contour product that I have is genuinely from Natasha Denona. The difference, though, between this and the Caladios is I actually find that this has a warmer undertone than my skin tone, so I can actually pull this off as a bronzer. So yeah, I like it. It's cute, and I have this in the shade 05 Deep. Definitely will be keeping. Prime Beauty. Oh my goodness. So this is in the shade Bronzeville. At one point, this was in a Project Pan because I wanted to hit pan in it. This has so much product in it that I actually was so tired of it. I put it back in my normal collection. Solid bronzer. I definitely think it's nice. I don't particularly love all of these matte bronzers, but as you could see, there were definitely That was definitely my interest when I bought all of these, but I will be using them. I just definitely will be kind of curating them and creating a different finish in my own way. Another matte bronzer that I have is from the Sephora range. This is in the shade Ibiza 05. This is a fantastic bronzer. Right now, when I'm filming this, Sephora's collection is 30% off. I would highly recommend this bronzer. If you don't have one, if you've never found one that works for you and you have my complexion, or slightly deeper, and I do mean slightly deeper, I definitely would recommend this, but you definitely need to like a matte bronzer and one that has a warm undertone. So yeah, that's that. Another solid product that I have is from Juvia's Place. As I find with these products that have multiple shades, I prefer and reach for one shade over the other. This is definitely the shade that I reach for more than this one, but they both work for me, which I do appreciate. This isn't their darkest shade in their range. This is just in dark. I do believe they have a deep, at least one or two deeper than this. Like I said, solid range. I really do enjoy Juvia's Place's products. It's just, I have a difference of opinion with the owner. So there's that. Cover FX. So I have kept this, I've decluttered this, I've brought this back, and I've done that because of the fact that I can get away with this with a cream bronzer under. And on top of that, this highlighter, like shimmery tone, is actually deeper than this tone here. So I can get away with it, and because, like I said, I'm genuinely trying not to use decluttering as a way to get rid of things that I did not take the time to really research and make sure I would get use out of it before I picked it up. I am going to continue to keep this in my collection and hopefully in the future pan it and get my money's worth. Some big beasts that I have in my collection. One is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is in the shade 4. Absolute love. Absolute love. This has a skin like finish to it. It is deep enough for me. It is blendable, pigmented. Absolutely love this shade perfectly. And you will see I actually have the cream bronzer as well. Genuinely would highly recommend her bronzer. I know I didn't really highly recommend her blush, but highly recommend her bronzers. Another highly recommend, honestly, is this baby right here. This is from Morphe, their Glamour Bronze range in Leader. Every summer, Morphe comes out with a kind of bronzer range. This to date has been my favorite undertone and just skin tone finish. I absolutely love this bronzer. Definitely keeping her. And yeah, I've had others, but this has just been my favorite. And since I found this one, I just haven't felt the need to pick up any more from the range. Alrighty. So an easy kind of effortless everyday bronzer. If you don't want something that's going to be like overly obvious on your base makeup, this is the brand I would highly tell you check out. This is from Wayne Goss and this is in deep copper. It does not look like much. It actually low-key looks ashy and cool tone. But when I put it on my face, I feel like these powders really come to life and it is dark enough and it does give me enough kind of warmth in the areas that I apply it that it works. I do tend to, like I said, wear a cream bronzer with all of my powder bronzers, so that also is something to take into consideration, but I do really enjoy this product and I do believe I've done a bronzer hunt specifically for this powder. I will link down below my bronzer hunts so that in the event that you want to see a more in-depth application or anything for any of these products, it will be down below. Now, this is a product that I am not too in love with. This is from Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is in Bare Babe. And this is where I really need to take into consideration my new ideology that I am attempting to have. If the product is usable, keep it. If not, get rid of it. This is usable. I don't particularly think that this is great for my skin tone, but it is usable. So for that reason and that honest reason alone, No, no. I just know me. I'm not gonna get any use out of this. This is gonna be decluttered. I know a couple of people that could hopefully get some use out of it. An oldie but a goodie is my Fenty Beauty bronzer in Mocha Mami. And as you guys have seen, I have definitely hit pan. This was an older Project Pan item. I want to say maybe a year or two ago. Absolutely enjoyed it. As you can see, I got so much use out of it. I do want to go ahead and like finish this up. I just didn't find the time this year. Maybe next year. This is a more matte bronzer, but I do just really enjoy the tone. And as you can see, it's very, very thin product left. So I don't think it would take me too much longer. This is definitely going to be on my short list of products that I would like to not leave 2023 with, because it's so little product. Might as well finish it up. So definitely keeping it right now. A bronzer that I'm not in love with, the shade is just not deep enough, but I keep it nonetheless, is the shade Profile from Nabla Cosmetics. As I've said time and time again, I don't particularly like the name for this product, but it is what it is. And yeah, I will be keeping it, just not a love. Definitely not a love. Kosas has been a love in the past. This is in the shade Deep. I love this. The finish is that skin-like type finish. It has that red undertone, and that combination is just beautiful on my skin tone. Absolutely love this. I definitely want to get some more use out of this next year. I found that I just kind of put it away in 2022, and I do definitely want to get some use out of it. Becca's bronzer in the shade Maui Nights is not a love. I know so many people love this bronzer. I just don't love it. But it's one of those things where like it works, so I'm going to keep it. But definitely not a love coming from me. Sigma in the shade Deep. I think this definitely is a solid bronzer. It's definitely matte. I wish there was some sheen to this. Very similar to the bronze blush that I showed in my blush collection video. It's good. It's nice. I'm going to keep it and go about my business. Gucci bronzer. Okay. Now this is definitely matte, extremely matte, but the tone, the undertone is where it's at for me. Absolutely love this bronzer. The packaging is so ornate and beautiful. I don't have very much from Gucci, but this was definitely an interesting product that I had to try. I think I tried this a year ago or so. Really, really enjoy it, and I do believe I did a bronzer hunt on this one. A Jouer bronzer. So this is actually a powder that a friend picked up for me and sent to me. This is in the shade Deep, but it's actually deeper than my skin tone. So I can actually get away with this powder as an actual bronzer. That's why it's in my bronzer collection. And I actually do really enjoy it. As you guys saw, I enjoyed the Jouer bronzers in general. So I think their powders in general are just solid products that if you want to try, go for it. I haven't tried their blushes, but I'm sure maybe in the future it would be something that I try. This NARS blush in Quimera has been the first NARS bronzer that I can actually get use out of. The other bronzers are just not dark enough for me. This one is really, really nice. It is a matte finish. I wish that they would come out with a more luminous finish that works on deeper, darker skin tones. But until then, I will definitely be happy with this one. This is fantastic bronzer. Really, really definitely recommend. Okay, Zoeva. So this is in the shade Lumi 06, and I keep this because this does have a slight skin tone finish to it because of this like luminous little half circle situation. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do with it after that luminous section is done, but I'm sure I'll figure something out. I really do like this, and like I said, this is in the shade 0.6, and I believe I picked this up from Ulta, so that's where I would look for it if you're interested. And then the last two are from the same brand. This is from Marina Butte. This one is a blush in Tarot. And this one is another blush. No, I said the wrong thing. So this is in the shade 01 Chocolate. And this one is in the shade Terra Rouge. Now, as you can see, the chocolate compact has a shimmer to it, whereas the matte compact has the beautiful warm undertone to it. I wish that I could literally mix these two together to get like my perfect shade from this range, but until then I literally just put my brush in both compacts to get my favorite. So I really do like this formula. It's a solid formula. I got rid of the bigger one because I just didn't get as much love and enjoyment of it between these two. So yeah, definitely liking those. So yeah, this is crazy, but I'm literally only decluttering one thing. I just really did not particularly like this, and I just don't think between all of the like okay bronzers, am I being mean? Should I keep her? I got her late in 2022. Okay, okay. I'm going to be more reasonable. I'm going to keep her for one more year. If by next year I still don't get a lot of use out of it and enjoyment out of it being in my collection, then I will declutter. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, let me put these back in their respective bins because I do have two bins to fit all of my bronzers, and then we will round this video out. Okay, if nothing less, I definitely got this a little bit more clean looking in the actual drawers. These two drawers make up the same kind of depth and width as the other drawers that you guys have seen my other cheek products in. So just to give you that comparison, I just didn't want to buy another collector or another container when I had these and I could kind of still get the same aesthetic vibe situation. So this is my final collection. I ended up not decluttering any of my bronzers. You guys know bronzer is a very hard category for me to really declutter, and I really think that I curated this really nicely last year. Two products that I genuinely am going to get some use out of. This is the only kind of oddball that I may not, and of course this contour palette. But that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I definitely will see you guys in my next one, which I'm sure is going to be very soon. Bye guys.